Hello everyone, welcome to the Corsair Cup, number 31, apparently. Brackets are final, I do believe. No light check-ins. And we're gonna look for our first game. Probably gonna go with Tarrantius. Oh no, he's in game already. That didn't take very long. Okay, TAiLS isn't in the game though. So yeah, while we get that set up, it's just a best of one. Welcome everyone. Yesterday we were casting the WCS qualifiers for North America. The day before that was more of the same, basically. Might be wondering when we're going to cast the end of the WCS European Passport qualifiers for WCS Copa Continental. That was a mouthful. And the answer is sometime next week, apparently. We're going to be casting the server qualifiers in a few days, actually, and then it's after that, actually. Yes, please invite Tarrantius. I PM'd him and then he asked in the main chat, whatever, and just ignore me, fine. Get in the game. Let's see here. WS Mexico EU Passport Qualifier is next Wednesday. So that's a while later. Top 4 people play out, top 2 make it through, and then if there's happens to be someone who actually won the server qualifier in that passport top 4, then it's gonna get really awkward. So I don't know. Here we have a regular simple bracket though, as always for Corsair Cup, just on a different day. Instead of Monday, it's Friday. And one sec for Rifkin. And the bracket is, I mean, it's actually surprisingly large considering that a lot of people are at Gamescom and traveling has happened, of course, recently and whatnot. So there's actually not that many Europeans. We do still have a couple, of course. We have our, I guess, the regular names that come up in a lot of our brackets. We don't really necessarily get to cast that often. A lot of these names do look familiar, like Matisse, like Fear, Kanji even. But of course we have our Koreans, Sleep, Alive, Billowy, TAiLS, and Super, I believe that's something name, and then a couple of our, I guess, heavy hitter Europeans like Guru and Laser. So of course they're Zerg. Rifkin is just to be right back for a second, so we're just gonna wait for him. This match is a best of 1, and it's gonna lead into the winner probably versus Super, unless he loses to some guy named Prabuti, which I don't think is gonna happen. You don't know. You don't know. Well, it usually does take us like more time to find the first match, but yeah, hopefully he comes back in the next minute. Would not be the worst thing in the world if I had a solo cast a best of 1. Tomorrow we actually have a break. I guess just thinking of things we're doing in the future. Tomorrow we have a break. Hello.
I'm so proud of me.
Why?
I just washed my own face for the first time in like 3 weeks. Sorry it took so long.
Good job. Great job. So yeah, we have a break tomorrow, and then we're back to casting every day after that. So Rifkin's going to be taking a bit of a break while he goes to PAX Prime in a couple of weeks.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I really want to go, but the doctor basically said if the cast isn't ready to come off before then I shouldn't travel, so...
Yeah, it's just a suggestion.
Yeah, but I'd rather get better.
I've actually, like... I mean, I've never been so severely injured, but I've certainly seen people with casts travel, and I think it's just a matter of, like, unnecessary movement, but just stay really still during turbulence.
just be the shock absorber you were born to be.
Yeah, exactly. Alright, apparently we got a couple of new subs while we were offline, I guess? Yeah. I'm not sure how or why, I guess for VODs, but Sid... Actually, we might have already shouted that one out, but we're doing it again. Sidfish. And David Krish, thank you for the new subs. That And I'll get into the game. It is a best of 1, so no score here. In the top left on Apotheosis, it is the red Protoss Tarrantius.
And in the bottom right, coming from Korea, regularly participating in these European Cups, is going to be the orange Protoss TAiLS. Now, there's actually something to be said, because there's more than just TAiLS, right? You've got Keen, you've got Alive, you've got TAiLS, you've got Sleep, and a couple other Koreans in the bracket. And they usually come out for these European events. And I feel like if this isn't a clear sign to other people, as it is to us as organizers, there's just nothing to do in Korea to the extent where they have to come to such an abysmally terrible way to play this game. For those who don't know, Europe to Korea has got to be like the worst. Excuse me. Combination of server choices you could make. Like, no one wants to play cross server like that, but these guys want some money, they want some competition that's not just the ladder, so they come out and they play in these cups.
Yeah. Well, that's very boring. It's actually like not even that they have to keep up their skill or that they want to be in competition. I think they just a lot of them are bored. A lot of them are also semi-retired, I suppose you can say, like TAiLS.
I think casual is probably a better way to phrase that.
Sure, casual, semi-retired. I mean, it's really hard to be a full-time pro gamer in Korea. I mean, I guess it always has been, but I think it's harder now, especially with your only option being a KESPA team, which is very, very different roles. But anyway, TAiLS usually gets to probably like the round of 8 or something like that. It is others like Super and Billowy. I guess with the other Protoss in the bracket. I get a little bit farther, and if I'm gonna guess semifinals would be Alive versus Guru and Billowy versus Keen, maybe? Yeah.
I didn't realize Billy is someone we expect to see. He comes up all the time. Did you say Super, though? I didn't see the brackets.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's something name.
Oh, dude, I love me some Super. That's awesome.
Sure. Well, I guess we'll see him... That's what we're casting this, and it's gonna be TAiLS versus Super, and then probably Super versus Billowy. So it's like all the Protoss got turned into one bracket.
Just want to point out real quick, Tarrantius is not someone I would actually count out so quickly. He's not too bad of a player. And TAiLS playing cross-server, being the kind of more quote-unquote casual that he is in a PvP, Tarrantius might stand a decent chance.
Perhaps. Just have a kind of a cheeky-looking probe down here. Twilight Council goes back up at home. That's pretty early. Whoopsie. Adept's going to run into TAiLS base. There will be some stalkers here and available, but I'm really worried. I mean, I feel like a pylon would have gone... Well, pylon should have gone down by now, because he's almost supply blocked. Especially he's going to hide the Dark Shrine, but maybe that's going to be just a proxy for later. There goes the Nexus. Stalkers will get into the main base. They shouldn't be able to get all the way back there to see what's going on. It is going to just be Blink. Okay. Well, the Adepts get in here. Gonna start killing a couple of probes. I mean, focus fire on a few of them. 3, 4. Shade is not looking so great. 5. Maybe could have gotten 6 had the focus fire been immediate.
That's still some good probe damage. And I mean, we talk about this all the time when it comes to openers. If you're going for stalkers, you know you're not going to deal with the Adepts too well, but you will deal with them eventually. So TAiLS really, that sucks for damage.
Yeah. He's now down 3, 4 probes. I mean, the bit faster of a Nexus will probably make that up with just that much quicker double probes, but we did finally have a proxy pylon go down. I guess he was accounting for the fact he would lose the Adept. It's going to be for a proxy gateway, combined with that Blink. Means there is going to be a bit more aggression than TAiLS would really expect this early on, especially if his entire focus is on Tarrantius' front line, trying to pressure him. There's no pylon on the front line, so that is a problem for Tarrantius. Currently, bit favor soccer count for TAiLS. Thanks to Smelly Pickle 3 for the 7-month resub.
Sup, fam?
This should be enough. Okay, maybe not. Gets a better shot off from TAiLS first. Probe's going down. He will have, of course, more production a little bit sooner with that third gateway finishing up, but this was pretty nice for TAiLS. He's rallying across an observer. Not that he has Blink. He's not going to be able to jump up or anything like that, but he'll be able to see maybe what's going on. Maybe snipe Tarrantius' observer. Now, Tarrantius, I mean, he's got this proxy, and that's fantastic and everything, but he really can't do very much. I mean, he'd have to push out with this army first, and TAiLS would see that and be able to prepare for it. I mean, he already has a Robo down, getting an Immortal. Actually, he already has an Immortal, so I don't think any Blink Stalker pressure is going to do a whole lot. Tarrantius is going to try anyway.
Ideally, he shouldn't do a lot.
Sure. And
Oh,
he
so
is
there's always those
warping in.
worst case scenarios.
Yeah, he is warping in, and he's gonna try. I mean, staying at the front and you know, making them feel the pressure and denying what could have been a very quick third base. I mean, those are all good things, but it's actually TAiLS gonna be going into +1 and Resonating Glaive, so changing over to a lot more Adepts, I guess. The 2 Immortals are out. They're kind of in the back, though, a little bit odd, so the first Stalkers get picked off. That wasn't entirely necessary. Pylon's also going to get picked off, and TAiLS was not entirely prepared for this push. He's got a lot of gateways on the way. Oof. It actually looks like a attack. It's like gonna be 7 gateways, and it would time out with +1 Resonating Glaives had he, like, you know, push across the map slowly. Oh, Tarrantius a little bit supply blocked. Oopsie. Didn't bring his observer either, so TAiLS has full vision on the army.
But even then, just because you got full vision doesn't mean you can make too much with it. I mean, Immortals are really good, don't get me wrong, but it's not until you got about that 3 count that you can actually make that magic happen. Warp Prism could help make up for that too with some micro. It all depends on flavor and style, but I guess if TAiLS can get that +1 going and he's going to have 2 to 3 Immortals, he could take a decent fight because Tarrantius doesn't have a lot of Adepts of this, but he blinks up to the main a little bit boldly with that hallucination. Kind of cool to see, but he is going to have to try and escape. Blink's still on cooldown as he is going to lose a Stalker for this.
Not really solely worth. Tries attacking the natural as well, and that was well prepared for. TAiLS has this production. He's going to have all his upgrades too, and he's got enough room to certainly warp in as much as he wants. He's going to also add Blink to that, but he's going to do anything with it. I mean, the Warp Prism is here. That could either help the full frontal attack, or it could go for some Resonating Glaives Adept harassment, but so far, nothing being chosen. Observers chasing each other, I suppose. TAiLS wants to know if the army has come back entirely. There's Tarrantius' own gateway kind of explosion going down here. And he is supply blocked once again. Oh god. I'm not intentionally trying to find out all the times he's supply blocked, I'm just accidentally noticing.
But that's kind of part of the problem though, isn't it?
Dark Shrine is on the way, finally. Expected that actually earlier, but still 2 bases, still pretty early on. TAiLS might not get vision of it, and it will be accompanied by a Warp Prism. 3rd base comes down. I thought TAiLS was going to go for 1 too. Adding on a bit of gas first, though. He does see this Blink Stalker army, but figures, I guess, Mothership Core is going to be enough to hold it. He's going to go for the full attack. That's a lot of Adepts. Tarrantius, yeah, he can't really do a whole lot with these Blink Stalkers. And so much of his focus would have to be on them to do anything that would mess up his defense here anyway. That's going to be a cancel. He cannot defend that. Oh, he's gonna try to bring the rocks, but a little bit too late, maybe.
Forces buy him a little bit extra time.
Yeah, just TAiLS gonna help him.
Teamwork.
Yeah.
TAiLS has done a great job turning this game around, though, from what was looking like a really bad position earlier. Now, Tarrantius obviously the one on that hardcore defense, but if that Dark Shrine finishes up, his army supply isn't so far behind that a DT or 2 couldn't really change the course of battle.
Wow, he popped that Footstone Overcharge really early. Once upon a time, this thing lasted forever, but that's actually not the case now. Well, it is a choke, and it is a couple of different pylons with almost a full energy Mothership Core. This is going to be a very tough hold to break for TAiLS, but he's up almost about 20 army supply. We actually have an Archon morphing in instead of anything else. I mean, he knows there's been observers on the field, so an Archon might be the best bet, especially against these clumped up Adepts. TAiLS goes for it. It's still going to be very difficult. The pylons are adding a lot of damage here, but that Warp is going to really help out. He does notice there's no observer for TAiLS, though, and warps in DTs and keeps him as DTs. That's the real trick. I'm not even sure where TAiLS' observers went to. I know he has them. Way off to the right side. He pushed it all the way over there.
But perhaps just assuming that they would be here, that was the problem. If he had just gone with a lot of DTs, no Archons, he could have easily saved this. DT in the main going to be shaking things up too. TAiLS going to lose his gateway production possibly soon. He's left with 11 workers while this goes on,
yeah.
So neither side doing super hot. Tarrantius loses a base, but TAiLS loses all his workers.
Wow.
The observer comes in, gets sniped.
The DTs are going to win him this game. Oh god, TAiLS is actually dead. I mean, it was so close.
Yeah, if this was the best of 3 or something, I guarantee this doesn't happen again, but this catches him off guard game 1. I love that these are late game DTs too, and this isn't even something super cheesy like, oh, you DT proxy rushed me, man. Like, this was actually just a really good, with how long this shrine took, like, I want to almost say timing for Tarrantius to get these out in time.
Yeah. That ended up being really great for Tarrantius. I mean, the probe damage is almost equalized with TAiLS' attack, and that could have been something where his army was just better, and it was better. but the DTs on the front line as well really was the kicker. And Tarrantius, I guess, double expanding because I guess he had that much minerals. Okay, that's whatever. But his army certainly is better, and he could try and type the observers again, or he could just make Archons like he is, and his army should win. Did he lose the Warp Prism? No, there it is. Yeah, okay, I was gonna say, I mean, there's the whole reason that these DTs did so much damage. It really was not being taken care of over here. And he's gonna go for the attack. Well, this requires a couple of, overcharges, I suppose. She can buy a little bit of time. But TAiLS is basically dead.
Well, it's interesting to see the recovery for both players, right? Like, TAiLS is dead because the army supply is better for Tarrantius in a lot of ways, but like, they both got back to 23-ish probes around the same time. Tarrantius' next is just finishing. His third base going to leapfrog him ahead with that gold. I mean, it will take mistakes out of Tarrantius to lose this game at this point. He's really got this in the bag.
Yeah, might as well snipe that observer. There you go. Today I learned 6 stalkers need to snipe one-shot an observer. Yeah. The gold base is the real kicker, I think, because even though they have even probe counts, you know, you're going to transfer all your probes to that gold base. Or enough to fully saturate it a lot quicker, obviously, than a regular one. TAiLS does have enough minerals now to go for his own third, whether that is the gold or the regular base. Probably should be the gold if he knows his opponent has taken it. Does TAiLS know? TAiLS does not know. Oh.
Oh, that's going to sting just a little bit more. Now, the nice thing about the gold is, of course, the low amount of workers really benefit from a gold base rather than, you know, if you both sit on 60 workers, you're taking your third, doesn't really matter as much. But in this sort of close, I almost want to call it like close quarters economic combat. Like, they really are hungry for money at this point.
Mm-hmm. Well, Tarrantius is about to be a lot less hungry. TAiLS looks like he's going to go for just another all-in, I suppose. He was banking about 500 minerals, could have used that to expand. At the same time, he is still building probes, though, so I don't know. I mean, he will need a third base. You need to start, like, even with all of the stuff that's been happening, they're both running out of their mains. Tarrantius, I mean, I wonder if there is a situation where Tarrantius gives TAiLS too much time, and I would say that that could happen if TAiLS has already had his third down, it's about halfway done. I'd start worrying, but TAiLS still stuck on 2 bases. I mean, again, his like lack of scouting might be really hurting him here, thinking like, well, at least I killed his base, you know? Because that, I can actually see that, you know, you think you killed their Nexus, and your Nexus at least lived, even though you lost so many probes, like maybe they have no economy whatsoever, no bank whatsoever.
He might even just tap out seeing the army what it is, much less the gold base. Look at that, there's a lot of Archons and Immortals in this, and he's left with barely gateway units, and okay, he's got Blink and maybe dances around a little bit, but at some point he knows Tarrantius is going to push, and that army supply, I guess it's not too different in size, but it's different in type.
Yeah, those Archons are going to add a lot. The Immortals, of course, retained for Tarrantius, not for TAiLS. Tarrantius, I guess in his mind too. No, he has pretty full scouting. Yeah, he should just know they can push, really. No third base, no third base. Oh, about to be a third base or try to take one. Unfortunately, TAiLS didn't break on the rocks. So that probe had to go the long way around. Yeah, ready then? Tarrantius, just go.
I don't blame him. Like, you're playing against a Korean player, and I think, like, whether it's a terrible Korean player or an A-list Korean player, you still got that little bit of dauntingness that's like, okay, he's really good. I don't want to fuck this up. I'm ahead. Yeah. Like, but I can still mess this up.
I think the biggest fear for him would probably be underestimating a Blink Stalker counter, like TAiLS is trying to do. If TAiLS had this big bank and suddenly had 16 Stalkers instead of 8, that might be a really awkward base trade. I don't know. That's still very questionable, though, to be afraid of. He knew for so long TAiLS did not have a third base, while he was on a gold for what is now like 2 minutes. Cancels TAiLS gold, can break through the rocks if he wants to, and he doesn't have to worry about force fields because he has Archons. TAiLS trying to reach for Archons. I guess not a bad thing to do in a low economy situation, because that's where your gas can go into. Oh, okay, that was unnecessary. Oh, TAiLS has an upgrade advantage now as well, and if only he had gotten that third base down. But that definitely could have been done. I don't know about the gold. Maybe you couldn't have saved the gold, especially because the rocks still aren't broken, but it could have been done somewhere.
Well, let's see what they actually got for army fights. About the same on Immortals. But more Archons for Tarrantius. And I guess TAiLS is up in upgrades ever so slightly, but man, I can't stop staring at that income right now. It's like 700 a minute for TAiLS. It's almost 1700 a minute for Tarrantius.
Yeah.
And what's kind of cool is like he's kept scouting on that base, so he knows that TAiLS isn't moving towards his own gold, and that's probably why he doesn't feel too pressured to move out. If he saw that there was a gold base down, maybe that'd be different. But 4% of depths, I'm surprised he doesn't try and do something to DTs again. Like even just one, like not like 3 or 4, but even just one.
Yeah, I want to say every time he's worked in the depths, he just made him an Archons. Yeah, I mean, this would be maybe not the main. Main's actually entirely mined out now, but certainly the natural. Well, not like TAiLS has much to mine for anyways, and TAiLS is going to go for just this huge all-in. To give the credit to him, you know, like, he did wait an appropriate amount of time. He got up to 3 Immortals again. It's a closer army supply than I expected for being on 2 bases for so long. But it's still a 20 supply difference, and the army just looks better. He leaves as Adepts. That was not supposed to happen. Oh well, GG. Alright, Tarrantius takes the series, because it was supposed to win.
Yeah, I said there's a good chance he actually knocked out the Korean, so congratulations to him. I guess this isn't all the Protoss, but this is a lot of Protoss, and that's part of the bracket.
Is it? Oh, Strange is Protoss.
Strange in the top half, yeah. Actually, Strange and TAiLS in round 3 could be a quite interesting matchup.
Strange versus Alive.
Or Alive, yeah, sorry, I was reading the stupid names. Always forget Stylish equals Alive.
Yeah. Well, we're going to be waiting for Super.
Yeah, by the looks of it, that seems to be the best thing to wait for anyways. All these other matches are kind of bit of throws, but I do want to point out round 3 also, didn't realize this, a laser, you know, that WCS contender, the one that everyone's got their eyes on right now versus possibly Keen. Could be pretty good too.
Mm-hmm. Get in there. There you go.
I guess it's not much, but we'll go to a quick ad break here while we get things sorted, guys. So thank you for watching, and stick around. We'll see you soon.